you're looking to throw a golf ball or any sort of ball at all, you definitely wouldn't stand flat-footed. You'd really limit the distance you're able to throw it. The principle of pressure going back and pressure going forward applies as much to throwing as it does to a golf swing. And today we're going to have a look at how it applies to your golf swing. Hi, I'm Peter Knight, and I've created this channel, Peter Knight Golf, to help you play the best golf you can. Today we're going to have a look at how the hips work during the golf swing and the timing of the movement so that you can get a little bit more effortless power. So I won't actually throw a ball. I'm left-handed. I play golf right-handed, but I'm a left-hander. So rather than giving you a great laugh by me throwing it, I'll just stick with the golf swing for this. So we need, any golf swing, the downswing movement needs to begin with movement of pressure to the front foot. What we do is we see that quite most evidently with the movement of the hips. So what we need to do to start with is to start to get the feel of how the movement occurs correctly, because if we mistime it and the work occurs with the upper body and the arms and the club, as well as costing us power, it's also going to create issues with swing path, point of contact with the ground, directional control, pretty much everything to do with the shot. So let's have a look at how the movement should occur so that we can start to get some flow in the movement. So from here, at the start, I'm just standing with equal pressure on both feet. Now, if I just let my hips shift from side to side, I can feel pressure just moving from foot to foot. So my hips are moving, but they're being moved by the pressure. Now, if I do the same motion, but I'm going to add some hip turn with the motion as well. So as I go back, I'm letting pressure go to the right foot, and my hips have turned. Then, and this is important, I feel like before my hips are turned back, I feel like they're going to move a little bit forward. So pressure goes to my front foot, and then my hips turn. So if I'm making that as a continuous movement, it would feel like pressure goes to my right, my hips turn. My pressure goes back to the left, then my hips turn. So it's an important difference just to add that little bit of a sliding movement before my hips turn. When I do it correctly, my hips don't actually have to move all that far to get quite a significant shift in pressure. So a correct movement in the golf swing, so I'm staying nice and centered, is, say, the angle that club is against my right leg there. My feeling is I've turned my body and I've got much more pressure on my right leg than my left. It could be 70% of pressure, 75%, something like that. Don't worry about the percentages. If you've turned centered and your leg hasn't moved this way or this way, you're likely to be pretty correct. Then from here, I want to feel like I'm getting my left leg to a point where it's vertical as early as possible. It doesn't mean it's fast, it just means it's early as in the order of movement. So if I make that as a smooth movement, I'm turning back to here, right leg's against that club there, and then from here, I'm shifting forward. And again, I've got that feeling of shifting without my hips turning. Now, in reality, your hips will turn and slide at the same time. So you're never going to see a slide and then a turn. That wouldn't be smooth at all, so we don't want that. For the purpose of the drill, you can practice getting that feeling though, because the likelihood is, because the majority of players start to turn their hips and then they can't get the pressure across to the left side. So from here, I'm turning back and then I'm moving forward and then turning through. So if I do that a little bit more smoothly, turn back, forward and through. Now that movement that I just made, or the speed that I made that movement, is pretty much full swing speed. It doesn't look like it because I'm not moving a golf club. I haven't got my arms in my club. There's no impression of speed because you can't see the club head moving. But from here, hips turn back and forward and through is pretty much full swing speed. So when you're practicing this movement, it doesn't have to be like really as quick as you can do, because you never do that in the golf swing anyway. So now if I start creating that exact same movement, but just with small swings. So as I go back, pressure's on the right, pressure shifts to the left, and then moves through. And again, I've created that as a 2 or 3 step movement. But then I want to, as quickly as I can, get it into a free movement. So pressure's on the right, on the left, club swings through. Pressure's on the right, on the left, club swings through. Then I can build up the speed, build up the range, and still have that same feel. But all the time, I've got this flowing feeling of movement on my feet as I'm going back and through. In fact, the movement that I'm creating here now is exactly the same as in my golf swing. You are, I'm sure, able to create exactly the same movement I did there. It's just when we put a golf club in our hands that all of a sudden our brain goes to, I know what to do here. Movement habit kicks in, and if the movement habit is not quite correct, then it's probably not going to work properly. So then, now I can make the swing a little bit bigger. So from here, pressure's on the right, pressure's on the left, swing through. A little bit bigger again. Pressure's on the right, on the left, swing through. Now if I bring it up to normal swing speed, on the right, on the left, swing through. So I've made exactly the same movement, but what I've done is I've sort of built it up over time. Now if I play a shot, I can play them at different speeds to get the feel of the movement. So the first one, I'm going to play the shot just at sort of less than full speed to get the feel of the movement. And even at what feels like a half speed to me, the ball's probably gone about maybe 20 metres short of normal. So it's still gone a reasonably good distance, but the feeling is I haven't really done much because most of the momentum essentially comes from the ground through my body, down through my arms, and is transferred to the club head. So I'm not trying to deliberately do anything here. In fact, if I start trying to deliberately use my arms and hands, I'll actually stop my body from working correctly. I won't have that flow. So next one, we just put it into normal swing speed, which is not going to be a whole lot faster than the previous one. The ball's gone about 20 metres further. So I've made the same movement, but I've just made it in a slightly shorter period of time, which makes it faster. But if you watch my hips when I'm making a full swing, what I said earlier in the video about the speed of the movement of my hips is about that for a full swing, which looks slow, it's actually correct. So practice that movement, just getting the feel, feeling what's happening through your feet, feeling what's happening through your hips. Keep your ankles and knees and hips almost like shock absorbers, so they're nice and soft through the movement. You'll find that the movement will get